What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got a lot going on here after the holiday weekend. Let me know how your holiday weekend was here and what you did. And hopefully, we will continue to see gas prices go down here. But we'll have to see here. OPEC has said that they're going to start cutting the oil production by 100,000 barrels per day worldwide. So that is going that when they announced that, they said or that caused the price spike of oil almost instantly. So we will have to monitor that to see, they're artificially trying to control the oil market, which directly impacts the price of gas, even here in the US. So this is the problem here with this. So I'll keep you up to date here. We didn't see a massive spike going into the Labor Day weekend, which was a good thing. But will we continue to see it go down? Will we see it go back up? This is kind of the problem with gas here long term. Let me know your thoughts here. The IRS unintentionally posted some private taxpayer information on its website. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Good job, guys. Yeah, the IRS unintentionally posted some private individuals' tax information on its website last week before taking it down, officials said in a letter to Congress that was obtained by the Wall Street Journal. Anna Canfield Roth, the acting assistant secretary for the management in the Treasury Department, said in a letter to a Democratic representative that the chairman of the House Committee on Homeland Security that the IRS determined that some machine-readable form tax data was made available for bulk download last Friday. The Wall Street Journal first reported the news, stating that the letter also went to other key members of Congress. The IRS did not immediately return a request for comment. The IRS plans to contact all filers who were impacted in the coming weeks, and that there was about 120,000 people's information posted. Also today, one of the top news stories is President Biden was heckled and called him an idiot. I'll show you the footage here. And also one of the top trending stories is how Biden handled hecklers or handles hecklers, and how former President Donald Trump handles hecklers. I'll show you a clip here. It's not even my clip. It's just what's trending here. So here's some footage of what former President Donald Trump and Biden here today with the heckler. Take a look.
Look, see, he's smiling. See, he's having a good time. I love the old days, You know what I hate? There's a guy totally disruptive, throwing punches. We're not allowed to punch back anymore. I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. Guards are very gentle with him. He's walking out like big high fives, smiling, laughing. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
We're a serious moment in our nation history. And it's not I mean it from the bottom of my heart. As I said last week, we remain in the battle for the soul of America. By the way, all right, God love you. Let him go. Let him go. No, don't let him go. Look, everybody's entitled to be an idiot. No, everybody's entitled.
President Biden's response to a protester while campaigning in Wisconsin yesterday, as compared to how Donald Trump handled hecklers during the 2016 campaign. Remember that?
Yeah, Willie, it kind of feels like he was speaking to me there. Said everybody's entitled to be an idiot. The same thought. Far different approach than Donald Trump, obviously.
Yeah, my wife's laughing in the background. Everybody's entitled to be an idiot. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Yeah, it's tough to get heckled there. For sure. I don't speak in front of a live audience, but I've gotten thousands of comments as well. We've gotten over 180 million people that have watched our YouTube channel, and it's tough. It's tough. It's just kind of the criticism of being in a live in the public eye, and I don't even speak live in front of people per se. I mean, I kind of am, but not like. I mean, you get where I'm coming here. They're actually in front of people live with the physical bodies there, right? Um, yeah, yeah, and I mean, it's gotta be a tough job. I mean, they say that public speaking is one of the toughest things to do in life. It's one of the biggest fears to do in life, and it's a tough thing. I remember my first couple YouTube videos I filmed ever. My first YouTube video ever, I must have filmed that thing 10 times.
How about
It was tough. I mean, this was a couple years ago now.
how about in a previous life when you were doing an interview for a local news station?
Yeah, they were back in my previous life.
Yeah.
When I owned my limo and bus company, I was interviewed for a local news station, and they came and put a camera in front of my face. This was years ago, and I froze up. It was like my first time ever. This was
Deer in headlights.
before my YouTube channel, and it was so bad they didn't air it. It was so bad they didn't air it. So people don't realize how hard it is to talk in front of a camera. And I mean, if you could see my setup here, I mean, I have 4 different lights. I have 3 lights on top of me. I have a light for my background. I have a microphone. I have a laptop here in front of me. And my wife comes and does the editing and stuff like that. It's a mini TV production, but it's nothing like what either of the presidents have to deal with thousands of people there and hecklers from both sides. It's a tough job for either president. And my hat's off to all of them, all the public speakers. It's a really tough job. I mean, anybody who doesn't think it is, go out there and try it yourself. Try speaking in front of 100, let alone thousands of people. Really tough job. And no matter what you're saying, there's always people that are like, nah, I don't believe it. It's not true. Yada, yada, yada. And there's always people that aren't happy with what you're saying, no matter what you're saying. Like, for example, the student loan forgiveness. The president, he's trying to give relief to 43 million Americans. And then there's people that are unhappy that they're not getting it. And then you got people that are getting the student loan relief that are saying it's not enough. If they have $100,000 in student loan debt and the $10,000 barely helps them at all. It's a small dent in what they have, and there's just so many things going on in the world that it's just a tough problem right now. You look at seniors that need help, you look at children that need help, you look at homeless people that need help, you look at low income people that need help. You look at the pandemic that has, claimed the lives of over 1 million people just in our country alone, and has still going on. You look at all these different things, right? And today, here's one of the major issues going on here as well. Take a listen.
Today marks the first day of classes for the Uvalde, Texas school district. It comes more than 3 months after a gunman opened fire inside Robb Elementary, killing 19 children and 2 teachers. Maria Villarreal is in Uvalde now with a look at how the community is preparing for the new school year.
On the first day back to school in Uvalde, the road to healing is lined with posters and makeshift memorials reminding families how strong this city is. Buildings now serving as canvases for the 21 larger-than-life murals honoring the victims.
It's so good. Before we go to work every morning, we drive this way. We'll say good morning.
And it's just like she's smiling at us.
This is Tess Mata, a cat-loving Astros fan that wanted to be a TikTok star. The couple and their older daughter, Faith, sitting down with us less than 2 days after the shooting.
For those people who watch this and say, that will never happen in my town.
How many times did we say that?
And this is a major problem all the time. Just this headline here today: 16 killed in mass shootings over the weekend. So this is a major thing here going on every day, and this is just the mass shootings. This doesn't include the regular, single and double ones. Meanwhile, a judge granted former President Donald Trump's request to appoint a special master to review the Mar-a-Lago documents. This was here yesterday on the holiday. He granted former President Donald Trump's request to appoint an independent special master to review. As my two cats just ran in here, did a parade behind me, and ran back out. They reviewed a request to appoint and approved the independent special master to review materials for the FBI seized from the Mar-a-Lago residence last month. U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon, who was a Trump appointee, dismissed objections from the DOJ, blocking prosecutors from further reviewing or using the seized documents in their investigation until the special master completes their review. Cannon asked the DOJ and Trump's attorneys to submit a joint filing by Friday that includes a proposed special master candidate list. So Trump's attorneys and Trump's team will get to pick who the candidate will be. We'll get to pick the candidate list. Yeah, my wife says, isn't that a little biased? I do think that is interesting that Trump will get to pick who the special master will be. He'll get to pick the list, and obviously he's going to get to pick the entire list. Let me know your thoughts on that. Interesting. Trump has accused the FBI and the DOJ of executing the search for political purposes, even though they did find all these documents. Also claiming that some of the documents were protected by attorney-client privilege and executive privilege. The DOJ has argued in court that a special master appointment would stall its investigation of Trump and that he did not have the authority to claim executive privilege from his time in the White House since he is no longer in office. Quote, with respect to the government's ongoing criminal investigation, the court does not find that a temporary special master review under the present circumstances would cause undue delay. It will cause some delay, but it is what it is. It is probably a good thing to have a special master in there. Alongside his request for a special master, Trump also asked the judge to order the return of the seized property from Mar-a-Lago. The judge declined to make such a ruling. Quote, plaintiff ultimately may not be entitled to return of much of the seized property or to prevail on his anticipated claims of privilege. That inquiry remains for another day. Trump also later, or that day yesterday, went on to say that the U.S. is rapidly becoming a third world nation. Trump declared that the U.S. was becoming a, quote, third world nation yesterday on Labor Day as the ex-president stewed over the ongoing criminal investigation in his handling of classified materials. He has repeatedly lashed out over the Biden administration and the DOJ, saying, quote, the U.S. is rapidly becoming a third world nation, quote, crooked elections, no borders, a weaponized Justice Department and FBI, record-setting inflation, highest ever energy prices, and everything else. And all, including our military, is woke, woke, woke. Most dangerous time in the history of our country. Some legal analysts, like Republican attorney George Conway, have opinioned that the available evidence is already enough for the DOJ to secure a conviction at trial for the mishandling of classified documents. This is coming from a Republican attorney. Trump was harboring a significant number at his Mar-a-Lago resort, according to statements now from his own attorneys and representatives. He and his allies have claimed that it was his right to do so, but critics of the arguments note that all presidential records are transferred to the control of the National Archives after a president leaves office. We also have some former Trump officials suggesting that he might have taken classified documents as, quote, leverage for future political aspirations. Two of Donald Trump's former aides speculated that he might have taken classified documents to his Mar-a-Lago residence as leverage for future political aspirations, saying, quote, I think the DOJ has an obligation at some point to give a sense, without revealing, of course, what's in these classified documents. But those 18 top secret documents, even the subject matter, because I think knowing the former president, we have to kind of think about why he does things and his motivation behind them, said Alyssa Farah Griffin, the former White House communications director. Griffin added that, quote, and one we have to keep in mind is leverage. Is this something that he's holding on to help his future political ambitions? Or is this something that he took classified documents unknowingly, was warned, did not turn them back over, and there was no motive or intent in doing so? They then responded by asking Stephanie Grisham, another White House communications director, what do you think is the likelier answer to what Alyssa just posted? Especially when you see that this classified information was seemingly just put together with random press clippings, clothings, and gifts. Grissom said leverage was the most likely reason behind Trump taking the documents. Quote, so my thought is, as Alyssa said earlier, I think it's some kind of a leverage. I do believe some of it he just felt was cool. And I do believe that some of it he just thinks he owns it, which of course he does not. So the fact that he did not give things back when asked over and over and over again over the course of a year, I think there's something behind it. So let me know your thoughts. A lot of Republicans, even under the former Trump administration, are saying that they think there's enough evidence to convict him or charge him of a crime. We will see here. A lot of people think that it might be after this election. You know, Trump and Biden are not up for re-election in this election, but they think that it might be after this election so that there's not political motive, even though they're not up for re-election. So let me know your thoughts here. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Make sure to subscribe down below. Just click the subscribe button, then the bell icon so you get notifications when we go live here with new videos every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to see my new video about stimulus checks going out, some up to $3,000 to people. And here is my newest video on Social Security raises up to $2,400. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.